Hello everyone. So today's been a pretty busy day for me in terms of the exciting tech packages. I literally maybe I got home around 11:30. My S25 Ultra was in the mail, so I spent about an hour setting that up, logging into all my stuff. This is going to be my primary phone for quite a while now. I got a pretty good deal on it. I was just kind of missing Samsung One UI. However, my 16 Pro Max that I'm filming on right now is due for an upgrade, an iPhone upgrade. And I decided to go to the iPhone Air. My 16 Pro Max kind of collecting dust. Sometimes I use it for videos like this. And I couldn't justify having a giant, powerful phone kind of just sitting on my desk, not doing anything. So I decided to kind of switch it over to the iPhone Air, and it'll be my primary phone for home when I'm filming kind of this stuff right now. And the reason why I'm not too excited about this is because when this first came out, I did try it for about a week. So I'm going back to something that I already tried out for quite a while. So wait, did I get white? Wait, did they send me white? I thought I got gold. Oh, I guess they got me. I guess I chose white on accident. Or I don't know. Maybe not. Not entirely sure. But it's something. When I used this for about a week when it first launched, it was quite exciting. I think it's kind of cool. Unfortunately, I'm not too keen on iOS, so I think the whole iPhone Air experience wasn't something, kind of like the magic kind of disappeared pretty quickly, because iOS is okay, but I think I prefer the customization, the ease of use, the accessibility on Android side, specifically Pixel OS and Samsung's One UI. Not that iOS is terrible, but I feel like comparing these three systems, there's certainly more benefits in terms of my perspective and my usage on Android. So, however, I think it's a pretty cool phone. I enjoyed the videos that it produced, the pictures it was able to capture. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I'll probably kind of follow up with how I set up my phone. But for now, I do want to show you guys some pretty good deals that I got on accessories. Of course, this thing is super light. You add a case to it, it just feels like a normal phone after that. Hold on, this is a little tricky to get in, so stiff. This is the, I don't think it's anything crazy. I think it's an off-brand case right here with the, wait, oh, this is Spigen? Oh, I didn't even know, because I got this for cheap. It was like $12. I actually got all of this stuff for cheap. If you keep looking, and then also if you order stuff on Amazon, make sure to check below the add to cart area, and there's always stuff for used. So yeah, you could get pretty good deals on it. I like these. I like cases with little kickstand, because when I'm filming stuff in the kitchen or something, I don't have to lug around this black holder that I use. I could just use the phone as is. So this is this one. Also, which is pretty crazy, because I was going to get it directly off Apple themselves, is this bumper case. This is the Apple official one. I got for $12, and I believe it's like 40, 50. Oh, God, this is going to be such a weird one. Apparently, it's really hard to take off, which is concerning. And then I also got this, the iPhone Apple crossbody strap for $20 used. So let's see if it's pretty easy to set up. Oh, wait a minute. What? I chose the blue one because it was... Wait, is that why it's only $12? Because it doesn't come with the little straps? Well, that's, I guess that's why. I'm not entirely sure what to do now. if there's little straps that I could buy, because you need to have the little ones that go through here. Okay, I guess. But this is it. Pretty slim, even with the bumper case on. But I guess because I don't have straps as of now, because I was gonna use the bumper case primarily when I go out for walks with my dog, and I use this to film. But yeah, now that this does, let me see. All right, you're seeing it live in real time. How this thing is difficult to take off. Oh, actually, you know what? That wasn't bad. So the trick, I guess, is to push out one, and it's a little bit bendable, the plastic. You just push out one corner and then it kind of pops off. Okay, that wasn't bad. I don't even know if they sell the little straps for this thing separately. I have to figure something out. Because if I'm able to get cases for, let's say my Samsung phone that has the little straps on the side, then yeah, this will be something I could keep. Maybe as a backup, or I could keep my regular one as a backup. Sorry, I'm kind of stuffing everything in a box right here. So I'll put this one on for now. Not that it needs a case. I think it feels fine. The videos I've seen of people kind of dropping it all over the place, I think it's durable as is, but I'm not entirely sure if I want to risk that. I do think it's kind of pretty great how the buttons are, the phone is probably just as thick as all the buttons on this thing. So I think that's pretty cool. I'll pause it here and then I'll get everything set up and yeah, kind of give a tour of how I'm going to use this iPhone when my S25 Ultra is going to be my main phone. So just for anyone out there who's curious. Okay, so my iPhone Air is all set up. It actually took the longest to actually half set up. I haven't logged into all my stuff yet. It took the longest to update to the newest beta. I don't know, iOS 26.5 or something, 0.6, something like that. It took about 20 minutes to download that thing. But other than that, I mean, Apple over the past decade or so has pretty much perfected their transfer process from iPhone to iPhone. When it comes to Android to iPhone or iPhone to Android, it's still a bit murky and not fun at all. But this is it. This is the iPhone Air. Again, I've used this before, so it's not like a big wow factor as of now, but it's a great phone. I think it's a pretty solid phone. I think I would say maybe at least 50% of people out there that use a smartphone these days. Obviously the biggest drawbacks, I think, for the other half of people are the singular camera and the battery. But again, if you just go to work and you come home and you chillax at home, you don't really have a social life, you don't really care to go on adventures or anything, you're kind of like a homebody in a way, or introvert, I think this phone is probably perfect for those kind of people, or people that are just like really busy with work. They go to work, they come home, they relax and unwind by watching their shows, and that's pretty much it. Normal lifestyle. I think obviously for people that travel a bunch or they do a lot of heavy editing on their phones, yeah, obviously the iPhone Air isn't for them. If you got money and you got teens, I think this will probably be a good phone for teens as well. And other young adults that maybe you kind of want to have subtly limit their online time, because if they're just on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok for hours on end. Those are big battery drainer apps. If you have the phone with the smallest battery, the iPhone with the smallest battery, then yeah, your kid isn't gonna last too long on those apps with this kind of phone, which I guess is a positive. I don't know. I was just thinking about which I'll do a separate video on how it instead of buying dumb phones these days, just buy a used old phone of your choice, an old Samsung, Pixel, iPhone, one that probably is the battery's already degraded, gives you maybe like 3 to 4 hours of screen on time per day. It drastically drains your battery by just again going on these social media apps. So yeah, that's just something to think about. I'll definitely dive into that as sometime later. But again, it's a fine phone. Thin phones, I hope, are here to stay. I actually like them. And I'll do another video as well on the somewhat differences on the Air and the Edge here. Again, hopefully these aren't. Oops, I'm not even looking at the camera. Hopefully these are not one-time products. I've had great experiences with both of them. I do wish, having used the Air first and then I used the Edge, I wish the Edge were closer to the 6.5 that the Air is. This feels so much comfortable in the hand. Even holding them together, I could kind of feel a little top heavy on this one because of the camera bar. But it's a little bit more comfortable, especially for me if I have small hands. If you've got average size hands, if you're a guy with larger hands, or if you're a woman with larger hands than the average woman, I think the Air will probably feel a lot more comfortable than it is for me. But as of comparing these two with the 6.5 and a 6.7-inch screen, this one, because it's just a tad smaller, feels more comfortable for me. But this one is still pretty great, I think, in terms of what Samsung has to offer as a thin phone. But as of now, this is it. This is my little iPhone Air unboxing and accessories. And actually, where did it go? Where did I put it? I think I'm gonna use this. I don't know. I think I'm gonna use the bumper case for now. I think this Spigen one might be one that will be used maybe if I go somewhere or something. If I take it to San Francisco or something like that. I don't know. But for anyone who's watching, who stopped by, I know I'm really late to the party. Actually, this feels a little, I don't know. Now that I'm feeling it again, because it has the little lips here, it feels a little interesting. I don't know how to pinpoint it. I don't know what I'm saying. But for anyone who stopped by, thanks for stopping by. And if you have any questions, definitely drop them down below, because I am going to follow up. But this is my phone for the next 2 years. Probably until the iPhone 20th. I can't see anything changing with the 18s. If there's an iPhone Air 2, maybe. But I'm looking most forward to the iPhone 20th to see the drastic design changes for that. So I'll probably have a lot of follow-ups in terms of the battery on this, because I think a lot of people are most interested or most concerned about the battery on the Air here. So okay, I'll end it here for sure. Thanks for watching, and bye.